Hi guys, it's a May. So it's a new contest starting for the entire month for everybody who comes to Facebook, joins, follows me, shares, comments, interacts, as well as on YouTube. It's counting each time you do it as one entry. So I'm going to give at the end of the month 3 20-minute readings. For those of you who want to know if you won, check the Facebook. I have announced 3 winners today for the month of April, pardon me. Okay, so let's start with the X spread. Hi guys, here is my X spread, and for those of you who know the significators, please look at the timestamp and you can just really go right into the reading. For those who are the first ones here or who still want to understand how am I making this actually work, just listen the explanation, and here it is. I have created a spread. It is known Cat Tarot Knows X spread, but it's also applicable for on and off relationships, and even to kind of like figure out the feelings and intricacies of your relationship. Why? Because I have actually used 7 categories, and 7, right? It's a kind of like really magic spiritual number, and also the entire spread numerologically adds up to 3. 3 is like that card of union of Trinity. So it is something that can kind of like raise from the ashes, right? So I'm just trying to figure out what can work, what cannot work. As I say in my private readings, you have to understand that not all relationships are meant to be. Like when you get together with someone, everything is really nice in the beginning. We want to charm, we want to be our best, but sort of like that enthusiasm maybe kind of like falls off with time. People get sidetracked, people meet other people. So one category here that I'm exploring, the very first one, is the Magician. So in tarot, Magician is a number 1. So of course it means, is this a go? Can this relationship ever be a starter? So what is Magician doing? Magician is somebody who comes to work and he goes, okay, let me crack my fingers and I'm going to start working. What do I need to do today? Wow. And there is a task, it's a little project list, and then he starts to manifest. So it's a start before the start. So what does he want to manifest? Look at the difference. He kind of like wants to use all the available tools, right? You see all of these tools here are now floating. They're activated. So I really want to see what is in this category. This category is going to tell me if you guys had all the ingredients to make a relationship. What in this category you have? Love, devotion, family, kind of like sharing. Then I say, yeah, like really good ground. Like there is like a great foundation for this. But what if you have, let's say, love and then lack of reputation or lack of family or jealousy? Then obviously, that's going to have issues. Sometimes it's just like downward negative. So the things that are supposed to help you are just basically things that are tearing you apart. And sometimes you have all but one element, and that one element seems to be important. It is like having 4 tires for a car and have an engine and have windshield and have all the other windows. Name it, rename it, and the key is there. And you start with a key, you try to crack it, and you realize, whoa, I don't have a gas. So you're not going anywhere with there. So this is why sometimes we feel that the one night stand was like more promising than it was, and it wasn't. It actually haven't ever been there. Maybe at the time and place it seemed kind of important, and it hasn't been important in a global kind of like scheme of things. And we as women, especially women, and even some more romantic men, and I would tend to think that these are the men who are actually coming to these tarot sessions with me. They're like lesser percentage, but there's still 25% of men over here. And I think these are quality men, and I wish that they actually speak up a little bit more, because people who connect with tarot really want to find out the real answers, and they really want to be in touch, or not only with the others but with themselves. So this is the category number 1. Category number 2, I picked this angel. I think it's Michael, who is trying to, I think, in biblical terms, merge wine and water. Well, that's not a really big deal. But here in tarot, it's basically talking about trying to merge two different things. So, of course, in a relationship, there are two different people. And even if you get along, you still have your own intricacies that might not really fit properly, right? So, what's basically happening here is, okay, let's put this together. Let's create this passion. Let's create this growth. Let's create this like solid emotions that we can kind of like step in. However, I'm asking for this card to be reversed. Why? In this category, I want to find out what doesn't work. What kind of like has to be fixed in order for things to kind of really work out. You see, in this after tarot, this angel is kind of manifesting. You see, one is connecting with emotions, another one is connecting with the sky. So literally you're getting, I mean, I love you as the sky is high and I love you as the sea is deep. Kind of like everything, kind of universal. And it's like still this like beaming with reaction. So what basically we're going to find out here is like if things that you have to build are sort of unbridgeable, if they can be built. So then I'm taking Queen of Wands, forget the horoscope associations. Of course, when I do Golden Dawn readings, I have to take everything in account. But even at that point, I'm just trying to see more or less personalities. But here I'm looking at how we really want to be seen in a relationship. So that's a significator for one party, generally for ladies. And if there are two ladies, then I put two Queen of Wands. If there are two guys, I put two King of Wands. So don't get all upset that this kind of represents fire signs, because when we start dating, we are all fire. We all start with fire, right? And it's kind of like fun, it's passionate, we are outgoing, we are playful, we are going out. Even if you're homebody, you will go out. Even if you're recluse, you will go out. Even if, you generally are not very sexual, you'll still have sex. So this is talking about being a little bit different. This is our dating selves, right? So you see here, she has this like beautiful flower, right? And the kitty cat that is right now connecting to her. See, it's kind of like, okay, where do I move from here? Am I kind of staying in my element or not? So here is my communication card. I'm trying to figure out, so in this category here, pardon me, with Queen of Wands, I really want to see what your partner, how did your partner perceive you? So, right, like, I mean, you know that people are generally not really straightforward, and you can go as far as that they are not being honest. So they don't really tell you. They kind of tell you sort of medicated version or kind of sedated version of what they think. And kind of like they don't express generally things that they don't like. So you really don't know what the real opinion is. You just know what you heard. So this is basically telling us what your partner saw in you or how he saw you reacted. So kind of like get this perception they had from their side. Here with 8 of Wands, this is my communication card. With this card, I actually really want to see the intricacies of energies. So this can mean how did you communicate? This can mean how basically, how well do you mesh, right? So in this kind of like position here is showing, okay, are you firing back? Because these wands are falling back, the communication is coming your way. Are you communicating right back? And is this effective communication? So now this is a second significator, right? And this is also same thing. I picked a fire sign, basically significator, because the other person also wants to be seen as cool. This guy wants to be seen, oh my gosh, I'm so charismatic. She kind of like likes me, and I am her king, and kind of like they want to feel this way. You see, kind of like he here has the little salamander, kind of just making his little first step, and here he's holding the salamander basically in his palm. Salamanders basically signify fire. Interestingly enough, even though they kind of reside in the rain, long time ago, in like 13th, 14th centuries, when they were creating these cards, they just saw salamanders jumping out from the fireplaces because they were kind of like be around there, and they thought they were fire animals, and that's how they were actually connected in tarot to fire. So And then I took judgment. And judgment is literally for me to feel out how karmically you basically are reacting. Because I also do karma readings. And in karma readings, I can totally see if people are repeating certain patterns, if they're bringing them from the past lives, and that's my past life reading. And it's kind of like it's easier to understand what's happening. But in this reading, I cannot go in 20, 30, 40 minutes of that. So I'm just trying to get at least an overview. So judgment card is talking about a situation that has been evolving, and maybe it's even dead, but it's come back to be alive just for rendering this opinion. So this is more or less a cosmic judgment, a karma card, right? So here are the two phases of that, right? Here it is like, we are here. What? Have it been good or not good? Is it make it or break it time? And here it is, okay, some of you are just going to be dead, right? So your relationship shouldn't go forward, or it should go forward. And this is what karma is saying, right? So I know that we all want relationships, but sometimes it's also good to get closure. And lastly, I'm picking this card for once because this is that celebration card, moving to the next stage. Four corners being solidified. So now, some people say this is a marriage. It just means the next step. It could be reunion, it could be reconciliation, it could be just quality of your relationship. It's not lived happily ever after. Yeah, some of us have been brainwashed with that. You know, it should be called what it is, crap. And please, mothers, don't read these like bad stories to your kids, because if you look how those stories were in their original form, they were not kind or nice at all. So this is just basically saying, are you going to go to the next stage with this person? Because marriage, after all, is just the next stage. There are many marriages that are not working out because you're just starting to build from the scratch. So when I say sometimes in my readings, well, this one phase has to end, another one has to start. So this could mean you're going from dating to steady, from steady to engagement, from engagement, so and so forth, so on. So you see this kind of like movement in this phase is exactly that. You're going from the celebration, I say, okay, we are giving this a try. So in this category, I'm exploring how well you guys are going to do. So when I do all of these categories, then I sort of like look at the intricacies and how this works. So if category, which is supposed to be the glue, is just not forming the glue, no matter how much you want, you're going to fall apart. You can still stick together, hold on to each other like for dear life. It's not going to work out. And it's good to know. So guys, hopefully this is kind of more understanding the categories. Check it on my website as well if you want to see this video again. I'm going to post just a short clip there, but also explanation of each card is over there. And if you want to order this X spread, then you're getting energies that are just between the two of you, not these generic energies that I am actually explaining on my site. The difference is like here there are many people, and so basically some people are cross watchers and they bring their energy. So sure, it can give you some general opinion and you might see it here. Most of the time people do, but to get really the energy between 2 or 3 people, please contact me for a private reading. The prices are on my site, so visit me there at www.cattarot.ca. Thanks, love you. And guys, if you want your spread that is still on the special, it is $45. So please contact me. My information is in the description on the site, or go on my website www.cattarot.ca. Hi Taurus, this is your monthly X spread. So if you guys didn't listen to the explanation, or if you're the very first time here, it is really good to take a look at it because it really explains to you how the spread works. And it's really unique and it really works. So for those who listened or who already know about it, let's jump right in. The Magician, the toolbox. In the toolbox you have ability to walk away. So Tauruses, happy birthday. So this is a really cool thing to have. Most people just like hold on to relationship like a dear life. Having this in a toolbox means you kind of know when it's time to check out. So let's see what needed glue basically in this relationship. Yeah, there were things that kind of like made you sad and lost and misunderstood. And now there are 2 emotional cards so far coming out, and kind of look, I feel sorry, but it's kind of not going anywhere. And let me see if something else elsewhere is better for me. So again, the significator can be either or, so you have to figure out which one is you. So how are you being seen or perceived? Whoa, King of Wands to King of Wands. Well, you're going to be seen, you have been seen as the person in control, stable, in control, just pretty much like Taurus. Also charismatic, also kind of person they actually wanted to be around. Really good one. The communication in between the two of you. Hierophant. Was this union kind of on a level that you really wanted to get somewhere with it? Mind you, this is also your card. This is also talking about feeling really solid on your feet, kind of following the rules. We will find out more about that. How basically did they see themselves and their role? Kind of like they're looking in a distance. They kind of like already had their back turned, but they were thinking about it, that's for sure. Kind of like, where do I go from? Like, what is my direction from here? So somebody's standing on the ledge, kind of like trying to figure out, should he jump the ships that coming or going, and why? Kind of like reassessing the passion. Judgment. Karmic view of the relationship. Whoa, the Emperor. Now you have the Hierophant and Emperor, and it's kind of like similar feeling because, well, back then when the cards were created, basically the church people had some influence. Today, we have the separation of the government and the church, luckily, but they are very similar in flavor. This is somebody who is basically telling you that some faith or universal rules are really important, and kind of it's a sense of mutual morality, while this is talking about making grand decisions, being stable, making sure how to progress forward, and kind of like making educated decisions as well. Not following decisions just because somebody's telling you that you have to, rather kind of like making your own decisions within your own kind of like scope of ability and your circumstances. So let's see the reunion. That's the first week of May we are looking right now. Well, it is possible. Some of you might get together, but I have to warn you, this card, just like as it seems, is a card of victory, adoration, but it's also a card of sex. So what is happening in the next week? Well, in your toolbox you have Ace of Cups. So you guys kind of like in this partnership have ability to manifest relationship. So basically somebody's walking away, and this card is really actually a good card. Just because somebody's walking away doesn't mean they would not come back. So if you're looking at this spread not because it's on and off relationship, but because kind of like you walked away from somebody's life or somebody walked away from you, that means kind of like sometimes it's good to kind of like take a breather from a relationship and see if we are overacting or if they are overacting. Sometimes things just spin out of control. We get stuck, right? Taurus, you're like a stubborn sign, just like mine sign, like we have fixed signs, and sometimes we get stuck on things we believe in, and it's hard to move us. So walking away gives us this perspective, kind of to reassess our own kind of attitudes, and also to see if we were actually fair toward how we judge the situation. So now it looks like, well, we did walk away, and you have the ability not only to walk away, but also to come back to the issue and kind of rebuild it. So what else needs to be glued? Whoa. So this relationship was not founded on proper grounds. When this card occurs, especially when this card occurs in this category, it's like twice as bad. So it's talking about warning, warning, warning. You see that red signal flashing, like danger, danger, danger. And this is maybe why you cried your eyes out. it's just like it's really important to figure out what you want in this relationship. And it looks like it was this kind of like whole idea about, this must be done this way. This is not how it works with relationship, guys. And it's kind of like really free flowing. And this is why we have so many issues. This is why people are breaking up every day, because like that free flow is like a river. It can go everywhere. And this is basically saying, look, for you guys to continue, or if you actually really want to build this into anything, you really have to shake everything down. So this kind of like false stability is made on a really wobbly legs, because it has to be built completely differently. So how you're being seen. See, you're being seen as unjust, or out of balance. But like, when this card appears, it talks about also that the person eventually thinks, hey, justice is going to come to you eventually. And like that, now this is really kind of interesting here. Are we talking about somebody who has been married, or who is going through divorce, or you are going through divorce? Somebody here has something really serious that is going on, and it could be that your partner is looking at you as you are the one who kind of like have some still connection to something. And this could then mean, look, this is not a situation where I want to be in. If you're still having issues with your ex-partner or connection, or your baby mama, this has to stop. Like, if you want to be with me, these are my boundaries. So this is kind of like sometimes establishing these really strict boundaries, and these are kind of like the moral codes I deal with. If you can kind of join me, great. If you can't, well, we are either going to have this like huge breakdown, or you'll walk away. So the communication. Okay, so this is pretty cool, Taurus, because this is your energy pentacles. You kind of like are willing to basically not only to talk and discuss, but also to work on how do we make this work. How do they see themselves? See that they see themselves as nurturing, and that actually could be also you. So that's why I'm saying I don't know which one is which over here, because the Empress is actually ruled by Venus. You're ruled with Venus as well. So this kind of represents few signs for sure, Libra and you. So now, it's kind of really interesting. On the second week is going to be shakedown, like big shakedown. Sort of, you'll be maybe cold, unjust. You'll be rocking the boat and saying, we have to define it. Maybe you'll come back and approach them for a conversation. Maybe they will approach you. Maybe you're going to find out you're pregnant. Maybe like your girlfriend is going to break you the news. It certainly is going to be a burst of creativity. And it's kind of like interesting, because that's the time when Mercury goes fully kind of like direct. So however, karma is saying, watch it. There is like this third party still lingering. And actually it's funny enough, because we have the 3 here, we have 3 here, and then morality. Okay, so reunion, quality. See, that's kind of like still out of balance, and you can expect that with going through this big shakedown, and something kind of like legally maybe even happening, something kind of like unpeeling. You see, sometimes people go through life doing their things and not understanding how that's perceived from the other side. You see these people on shows looking completely unkept, and then they make these do-over on them, and they look like so great. But soon after, they just go right back to where they were, because kind of like that's a comfort zone where they feel comfortable, and they don't even think about going in the other direction. Maybe those shows kind of like kick them out of that kind of like feeling. So the same thing goes with emotions, and with how people do and go about day to day. And unless you really shake it down and kind of insist on your stuff, that people kind of see that, hey, how I am affects other people, and this can be changed, or I'm willing to change to be with this person, they'll just continue doing that. And you can be mad all you want, they are just that way. So in each relationship, you can actually renegotiate that. And this is kind of like giving the ability to this King of Wands to have this charisma, to kind of like approach it with a smile. And of course, you cannot renegotiate and bring people to your, let's say, sales pitch to kind of join you if you are abrupt about it. And it looks like in your case, the destiny is going to step in and it's going to be make it or break it time. You're going to not like that there is another person still lingering around there. And I don't blame you. The third week. Well, you also have in your toolbox feeling of being backstabbed. Kind of like really mixed toolbox. Sort of like Phoenix rising from the ashes, but it's kind of all or nothing. Like have a 1 and you have 10. Okay, what needs to be glued? Yeah, I think it's a pretty appropriate this card is showing us. So upright, we are going to the safer place. We are still not there, but we are trying to get there. Reversed, we still feel we have to discuss things. We feel there are still lingering issues. And even though that means coming back to the old story, well, this is right after the Tower. You know, like when everything falls apart, it is really good to talk about it and just to see if anything can be cleared. Otherwise, you're getting this like, oh my gosh, I just have been so badly backstabbed, right? Okay, so how you're being seen in third week? Well, you see the Judgment card is coming next to Justice. So you're going to be seen as the person who is rocking the boat. You're going to be seen as unjust. So you have a justice and judgment. So this is legally and morally kind of like you're going to be seen as you are the one not cooperating. And it usually happens when you have like, I mean, two immovable objects, especially if you're dating a sign that is also fixed sign. It's really hard to move the mountain. So you have like two basically major arcana cards next to the Tower. So the communication wise, you see now is like the Ace of Pentacles reversed. After trying to build, this is coming to a halt. It looks like it was a false start because somebody here would feel, come on, this is not the way it should be. You know, I shouldn't be disjudged. And this kind of whole situation, after this discussion, maybe this whole situation is becoming intolerable. And you're feeling, look, you have to bury certain things. Or you guys, if you want to take somebody back, you have to understand, okay, this is the package deal. If after this conversation, they're still not changing, you have to make this decision. They're not going to change. Can you live with this? If you can't, you should not continue with this trying to change them because it's going to just create turmoil and this like false start. If you can, then just never mention it again. Live with this. That's pretty much the options, like option you have in a relationship. So how are they seeing themselves? You see, they actually do see that they're not telling you the exact truth. Or they're like kind of, this could be a white lie, this could be a big lie, and this also could be somebody working on themselves. It's possible, but like, I mean, two aces right next to each other, next to Judgment, next to 6, like it looks like it will be some kind of really heart-to-heart discussion where things will be done and placed on the table, and we are either going to like get it out or not to go forward. So in your Judgment card, like it's basically advising communication and saying that things are still up in the air. So you have the communication card now here. As far as reunion, okay, it's talking about the balance. This relationship is calling for a balance. And however, in this balance card, you see like 3 people again. So who is balancing who? It was just right after juggling. Like, is somebody thinking, okay, I'm going to make it work with this person on the side? Or is somebody thinking, okay, this was not equal give and take and I have to, like, I mean, do my part? Do you feel that you were giving too much and now you're going to pull back and see how it works, if it's going to have the same kind of like chemistry? Something like this is happening in the third week. But the third week is going to be pretty strenuous, I have to tell you. It's going to feel like going and on. It's like you have 2 months and then you have a 10, you have Judgment. Fun. And last week, okay, so somebody is, in your toolbox, it's kind of hard to make this decision about where to go forward and how to build a world, especially after this lingering feeling of being backstabbed. Okay, so what needs to be improved? You see, that kind of like harsh communication where the truth is not being spoken might actually go and swing the other way. Like it goes from being overly polite and wrapping things up and not saying the things the way you should be saying, to going completely, full frontal, kind of like, this is what they think and this has to be fixed, sort of like unfiltered version of. And that's pretty much what I think it will be happening for you in this month, Taurus, because these are, to me, are crucial cards. You have been very hurt. And, hurt has those stages where you first, like you bargain, you want them back. Then you're crying your eyes out. You're just thinking about all these good parts. Then you're getting to the point of, wait a minute, like, besides these good parts, there were like really bad parts, and why I'm not like thinking about them. And then getting angry with how you have been treated, and why feeling like really bad and angry even with yourself. Why did you put up with that? And then everything comes out. It's like, blah. It's like one of those things when like when you have this conversation with someone and nothing will be repaired. So this kind of like is saying here, well, it is in the toolbox where you need to repair it. So either to communicate more effectively, where you are not really, like, you see, they're like desperately needing that nourishment. They kind of like didn't feel it from you. Kind of the whole relationship seemed to be too structured, I would say, because in between the two of you have no cups. It's kind of, okay, let's build it. And I get it, this is your energy. But the other energies are kind of all over the place. So let's see how you're being seen. Exactly. So you're seen just like that person who just had enough. You're cutting ties off, and you are like not shy about telling what is on your mind. Yeah, the offer is being rejected. I think you are the ones rejecting it. They feel like they have no choice. This is the choice. The choice has been taken away. And from 1 to 2. Karma. Yeah, karma is saying, oh my gosh, you guys are finally understanding that this was very unhealthy. You have the devil coming out. And overall, it's going to leave you feeling that this relationship had secrets, that you didn't really figure out what is going on or why it is going on. And it's just going to make it easier for you to walk away. So Taurus, if you want a private reading, because this is general, this may or may not relate to you. Your personal energy could be completely different. So Taurus, if you want to find out your own personal situation, contact me for your personal reading. The information is in the description box, and also you can check my website www.cattarot.ca. Thank you. Love you.